Hello, everyone. This is the RBD Season 8 audio commentary, or rather, most of Season 8. It's the first 3 episodes, except for episode 33 that has its own commentary, so check that out if you want to listen to that one. But it's mostly Season 8. So we're covering here the first episode of the season, the 30th. Only episode on the show that was shot with an anamorphic lens. And honestly, it was just to test using it for my then upcoming movie Stabbed Your Attention. I had just gotten an anamorphic lens and I wanted to test it out. And I had to film this, so I said, well, why not do that? And I love that my dog makes a little cameo there. Probably the most fun I ever had researching for an episode. I got to pore over so many trailers that honestly I'd forgotten about, that I thought I had dreamt up of, but were actually real trailers. And it just brought so many memories. I could have easily made an entire series based off of trailers. The idea of this episode. From all the material I had. I mean, it was seriously just so much stuff that I wanted to talk about that I didn't, because I had to fit it into one episode. Also, one of my favorite episodes. Not only the research was fun, but I really just, this is something I wanted to talk about for the longest time. Trailers used to be really amazing and honestly an art form. And while trailers still get the job done these days, it has definitely been like packaged and patented as opposed to being like an art. Like it's kind of like trailers are like McDonald's now, it's like you know exactly what you're getting essentially every time you see a trailer. But when I was younger, in the 90s and in the 2000s and whatnot, they were just, it was something else, It really was an art form. And I was so glad I was able to dedicate an entire episode to talking about some of the trailers that really made an impact on me, and that I still think about to this day. So now we move on to the 31st episode, which is the beginning of the end. I actually opened this episode announcing we are ending. And 8 months later, it would be the episode 33 would come out. This is my final two-parter. And I decided to talk about my top 10 favorite movies of all time. I had done top 5, I think it was, games of all time. And I really wanted to end talking about, my movies. Because I knew this would be the last episode, or two-parter that would be an actual retrospective. Because the last one was kind of more, it was retrospecting the show, but not something that's like more of a general topic. And top 10 movies just seemed the way to go. I wrote both parts at once, so I wrote episode 31 and 32 at the same time. So filming these were kind of, creating these last 2 episodes was very strange, because I did all the research and development on for these 2 episodes at the same time, and then I would write them all. And then, film them and all that. And I decided it just made sense that episodes 10 through 6 would be part 1, 5 through 1 would be part 2, just split it in half, just to cover it all in a massive kind of 2-parter. I also shot all the live-action stuff all at once as well. I basically just wanted to get everything, all the material I needed as soon as I could, so I could focus on editing and releasing the 2-parter quicker, because I didn't want to release part 1 and then have to film and do everything for part 2, and have like a giant wait in between them, like I had in some of my other 2-parters. So Um, yeah, that just made um, sense to do. It was fun to cut together more movie stuff rather than game stuff. I tinkered with that with the trailer episodes, and I'd never actually used a whole lot of video clips in past episodes, but these last few episodes I did, and it's definitely a different animal cutting together um, live action movie stuff rather than video games or things of that. Because not all video games are cinematic. Even the cinematic ones, it's still a little different to put together. And that was a really fun experience. So here we have the 32nd episode, 32. Um, Part two of this two-parter was easier to make since I had all the material at this point to fully edit, like I mentioned last time. So really, when I got around to doing this, it was like, okay, let's do this. Let's cut this all together and get it released. I didn't mention this last time, but parts 1 and 2, so this part and the last part, was the longest research I ever did when it came to writing an episode. I saw all 10 movies again and took notes on them while watching. So there's a big gap between the 30th episode and the 31st episode, because I really did go back and watch 10 films and really, beginning and watch them, take notes, things of that nature, so that I could have just full ideas written down, so I could write the episodes accordingly and not have to like jump back and forth and rewatch certain parts of the movie and stuff like that. Also, final appearance of classic RBD guy with longer hair. Definitely something I'd worn the wig for these last few seasons and episodes because I wanted to bring back the classic guy. And I knew the next episode was going to be a lot more complicated, and I didn't want to wear the wig, so this kind of accidentally became the final appearance of classic RBD guy with hair instead of having my normal, almost not hair look. So yeah, just a fun little fact. But all right, guys, that is it for this commentary. The episode 33, which is part of the season, has its own audio commentary, so do check that out if you want to hear my thoughts on that. And thank you guys so much for listening. Take care.